I'm descending to outer space to find another race. I'm descending to outer space to find another race. Da 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 da. I'm descending to outer space to find another race. I'm descending to outer space to find another race. I'm gonna put on an iron shirt, chase the devil out of earth. I'm gonna put on an iron shirt, chase the devil out of earth. How you all doing? All right. I'm descending to outer space to find another race. I'm descending to outer space to find another race. I'm gonna kick Boris in the head. Oh wait, I can't get close to Boris. Oh well, I'll just pretend and I'll just imagine I am. That's okay though. Oh, there's a certain colour that comes to mind when I think of Boris for some reason. It is a colour that I really like, and I try to disassociate that colour from my vision that I have right now. And I'd like you all to wear that colour. Start wearing purple, wearing purple. Na 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 na, sing along. Start wearing purple for me now. Oh, your sanity then with the will of vanish, I promise. It's just a matter of time. Oh, yes. I'll start wearing purple, wearing purple. Na 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 na. Start wearing purple for me now. Oh, your sanities and with the will of vanish, I promise. It's just a matter of time. I knew you since you were a lady, I don't know if this is the word, from the gypsy part of town. I hope that's not appropriation. Oh, I knew la 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 la. Don't know, Jane, don't know the words, but I'm gonna sing it. Da 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 da. Start wearing purple. Start wearing purple. Start wearing purple for me. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 Okay, so now you're all here, I got you a bit warmed up. Let me set the scene. Amidst the misty moors, a black house stood. alone, bleak and crooked, as a black house should. Its windows veiled with a mirrored black frost you'll find. Concealed inside, the mortal cost of a lost mind. Behind a calm creek, sound was dying and thin, but with a perishing chill, screams could be heard in the distant wind. Make no mistake, black magic was rich. The Black House housed a wicked witch. Beware of ghost pirates, ladies and gentlemen. 7 ghost ships from 7 dead oceans smuggle ash, dead roots, and bottled potions. No spices here, oh dear, how ghastly. We'll step aside, Nancy, or things'll get nasty. Talking pottery at the harbour of Bull. To buy mystic wares, you'd be a fool, but to dabble in elixir is a mortal man's pleasure. Oh, with this elixir, I'll live forever. But not a single bit of wonder for the plunder that you hunger. Oh, I feel rather a bit ill, I'm afraid. I think I've got coronavirus. Ah! As it goes and profit, as it gullible, stop it and dance aboard the vessel right before they kick the bucket. We're all sailing to the world's end where you'll drop like a stone. You'll already be dead. Do you feel encumbered? Does it make you hunger? Doesn't it make you shudder? Let me call to the west, let me call to the east. Rain down from the clouds upon these 7 dead seas. We are the ghosts of pirates past. Turn out your pockets or walk on the plank. Sail from the place where there ain't no sun. With a yo-ho-ho in a bottle of rum. We are the ghosts of pirates past. Aboard the vessel, a flock of bats. Come aboard when it's your turn. With a yo-ho-ho in a bottle of rum. Yo! All aboard! Yo! Your soul shall live upon the ghost ship forevermore! Yo! All aboard! Yo! Come aboard, you scurvy dogs! Arr, port to starboard, matey! All aboard to the 7 dead seas! You'll scrub the decks forevermore, you landlubbers! Dusk fell as the dying sky ignited with a sea of flames. Embers rained as the last drag of a cigarette hit the ground. 10 men stood before the house, armed with rifles, bows, stakes, and snarling hounds. The men had accustomed to this ritual well. As hunters, they had many tales to tell. As the sun began to set and douse the last flicker of red, the realm was engulfed with an eerie, dark dread. Thick fog rose like the billowing huff of an underground hearth and snaked round the comers like an eldritch scarf. Some felt the touch of ghostly fingers in the mist as quiet unease had swelled like a cyst. One of the 10 tipped his hat as his coat blew to one side in the wind. Above their heads flocked a cloud of bats. a gust of black, so familiar as an omen of sin. The hat tipper of the 10 stepped forward and from his breast pocket pulled out a tattered old book with a rook on the cover. And with a nod from his brothers, he opened it up wide, cleared his throat, and read aloud from what was scribed. The message was in a foul tongue that witches conceived, demanding that at once she leave. Her presence was unwelcome, they could confirm, and to the Blackwood she must return, or by order she would burn. May it be a black, twisted, terrible abyss. The Blackwood is your realm, and so it is. Whatever darkness and meddling you intend in the land of free men will not stand unopposed for you to rend. Hear us now, witch, and leave us at once, or you shall fall prey to our bows and guns. Well, the door swung open with a gust of jet-black smoke that took the form of a jet-black cloak. Out she emerged with the head of a ram, a horn in each hand, just as the 10 had planned. To match, her face was painted half black, from her raven hair to the tip of her nose. She rose the head above her own, and cackled a heinous black curse, and from there things only got worse. Hexed by a vile drone, like the bellow of a dragon moan, the 10 stood armed to attack, but such a spell had them bested with a savage crack. The summoned wind hit like a sonic boom, as ancient and rich as forgotten kings' tombs. As accustomed as they were to such twisted witchcraft, the hunters had collapsed as the wicked witch laughed. For 10 of the best from so near and afar to be caught so suddenly off guard was something of a tight knot. From all they had learned and from each witch they had fought, they had never yet felt such a warning shot. Let's do a wonk unit cover, eh? Yeah. This one's called The Ghoul. Look at these eyes, look at this face, oh look at me, what a tease, take a bite, have a taste. Mademoiselle, how dare you be late, 'cause a night with the Ghoul is great. Edwardian principal, Brixton and crushing. It all started with my father, our pesky dad. We couldn't stand each other. Nothing that I ever did was ever good enough. I've had enough. I couldn't be arsed. I am the Ghoul. I am the Ghoul. I'm nobody's fool. I'm the Ghoul. I am the Ghoul, I am the Ghoul. I'm nobody's fool, I'm the Ghoul. I'm broken, beyond repair. And with my belt electrocution operator, I'm the Ghoul, I am the Ghoul, I am the Ghoul. I'll take you back to school, I am the Ghoul. Mommy knows that the boy isn't right, but she welcomes him hungry to her bed at night. I get lots of girls, and I bring them to your house. I make you jealous, don't I, Daddy? I make you jealous, don't I, Daddy? You poisoning, miserable bastard, hating, killing, crushing, destroying me. I am the Ghoul. 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 When the dust cleared, it seemed the hounds had fled, and 4 out of 10 men unmistakably dead. The hat tipper gathered himself up as the sky opened and began to rain. He polished off his coat with those that remained. From where there was 10 now stood 6 men, aside from the storm of a grave silence had befallen as he looked from one to another. Such sorrow and admiration for their fallen brothers. Honourable men with hearts of bears, caught in the snare of a witch's lair. The witch herself thought little of her crimes and retreated at once inside. So the rage and rich six had revenge transfixed, and with their fallen friends as a driving spur, they kicked in the door right behind her. Venturing inside was something of a silent regret. The interior was blacker than jet, and there they stood in a passage full of frosted mirrors. A reflective maze leading hundreds of ways that only the strongest of will could navigate. They mastered the fear that they could admit, and with a strike of a match, a lantern was lit, and on they pressed with careful wit. The puzzle was long and diabolically testing. For hours they walked without resting. Soon exhaustion hit both the body and the mind, and two men were inadvertently left behind. They took a wrong turn and couldn't turn back, and were gobbled by the house of the blackest black. So now four remained where before there were six, in a triumph of trickery such as this. In the cold air and behind the glass they could feel the witch's wicked laugh. In their bones and on their skin their sanity was becoming insufferably thin. But trained in keeping such madness at bay, they would not be the witch's prey. Refusal to be broken in such a courageous struggle saw them to the end of the illusion tunnels. It may have taken days, it may have taken weeks, but it was clear they had made it out in one piece. Making it out alive from that abominable fear reminded them of past Christmas cheer. Indulging in rich banquets, cups of hot spiced wine, or a generous glass of brandy or beer. Watching children play in the newly lain snow from the warmth of the window, and the smell of a perfect candlelit tree with the perfect gifts underneath. Each man thankful for the danger that had passed, sure they had gotten out of the witch's web at last. But these thoughts went with a blood-red flash that sounded like a thunderous blast, and just like that, another spell had been cast, and the hunters jumped back fast, looking terribly aghast. One of the four men had been turned to ash. The whiskey rage! Feel the hate inside, there's no less to abide. It's throttle to the bottle, and I like to drink a lot. Cause it's whiskey rage, whiskey rage. You think I'm fucking tame? Well, I can see the flame. And what I fucking do to you, I better not be blamed. Cause it's whiskey rage, whiskey rage. Cause if you hate and despise, there's no right, no reason why. Whiskey rage. When I go to the party, I feel like the core. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Get some more. Hit the 4. Precipitate the vapor, condensing off your window. I don't care about science, I'm a fucking drunk. Cause if you hate and despise, then there ain't no reason why. Whiskey rage. How would you like to place a wager on getting necked on a whiskey rager? Behind closed doors you'd probably be safer. No! Whiskey's calling and I cannot cater. Whiskey rage, 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 whiskey rage. just stepped into Heart Attack Central. As much as I can eat, more than you can handle. Bare my teeth and let out a snarl. Hit the counter free more and I'm cooking the barrel. Spit the cheese to my knees and I'm begging you please fill a large cup to go with that burger grease. And this might be my dying breath, but I ask one thing of you. Will you wait for me? Will you wait for me? Will you wait for me? Will you wait for me till I get back on my head? Just got back to Heart Attack Central. Much as I can eat, more than you can handle. 3 more burgers and I'll cut the cable. You know, this kind of shit will make you disabled. Had the joke kind of stroke, it was hardly provoked. Now the dagger's in the cloak and I'm gonna show. Cause there's a might in my dying breath, but I ask one thing of you. Will you wait for me? Will you wait for me? Will you wait for me? Will you wait for me till I get back up to Indy? Another cheeseburger down your shoe. Me a bit off more than I can show. Nice shoes, Will you wait for me? Will you wait for me? Will you wait for me? Will you wait for me till I get back from A&E? Don't eat too many burgers or you might end up in A&E. Which would be particularly bad at the minute with all this coronavirus going about. You don't really want to end up going to the hospital because the nurses are very scared. I have to press that point. The nurses are very scared, so don't put the pressure on. If you can, let's be nice people and let's look out for each other, eh? Okay. On their heels, they're swung round with their hearts in their mouths. Here they stood, in the body of the house. Hundreds of stairwells going in different directions, from floor to ceiling, that filled the last 3 men with a dreadfully empty feeling. Winding straight, wide and narrow stairways, reaching doors leading to rooms, halls and tunnels of more treacherous, wicked trickery, and doors to blackened plains of infinite misery, breathtaking nebulas, galaxies and dimensions of insanity. There they stood silently, staring into the black house core, as the one who made 4 lay his ash on the black stone floor. But the caster of the spell was nowhere to be seen. A suspense that gave all 3 a feeling like they were on their knees, with each of their heads in a guillotine. The dreadful anticipation had engulfed them in the silence, but nevertheless, with what will was left, they readied themselves either for death or to relieve the witch of her last black-hearted breath. So there they lay in wait, 3 hook flies as bait in an untapped lake. "Show yourself!" the hat tipper cried aloud with a voice that filled the haunting hall. "Show yourself in the name of our brothers, so that in their honour we shall see you fall." Well, the wicked witch never took much coaxing, and indeed their deepest fears had awoken. With a crackle like a fuel-tipped wick, out she flew through a battered old door, roaring down the stairs on the hilt of a burnt black broomstick, straight for the floor. In the fearless display and with growing dismay, they threw themselves out of their way as with a mere flutter she cut right through them like a knife through butter, cackling aloud as witches may, the one the free intended to slay. This was it, the grand finale. Above their heads the wicked one rallied. With not a second to waste, they made haste to bear what arms they could, as fatal spells rained down upon the black stone floor from which they stood. Their arrows misfired, as the witch laughed louder, and they dared not try gunpowder. The free reconsidered this heroic last stand, and instead tried to form a quick-fire plan. Their only chance now was to get out of the open. Such power was unspoken, and they were but a cat's hair close to croaking. There, to the left, the nearest door, that was most certainly not there before. Towering, arched, magnificent oak, with a coat of unrepentant sins and smoke. They struggled hard to heave it ajar, as the handles were most bizarre. One was both near and afar, and the other just like a floating star, sailing on its way back to Mars. But just as the door was finally pried and the two slipped inside, there was a roar of flame and a scream of pain, and just like that the third was fried. And I think that'll be the last you hear of that story tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to finish off and leave you with one more. It's a Boss Mag song. See how it goes there. This one's called Rise and Fall. Take a look around you and what do you see? You see democracy's dilemma, but it's cracking at the seams. Take a look around you and what do you... People are drinking from the poison well, contaminated by fear, but they can never tell. And they come in and now you're like a disco killer, making worse moves and a tripping armadillo. Pied Piper is a blind gorilla. All they said is nothing but filler. Under it all, the rise and fall of humanity. What's it gonna be? The final nail in the coffin. Under it all, the rise and fall of humanity. What's it gonna be? For the system to come out and cover up the population, that's what this is all about. Some say yes for sovereignty, it's a thing of abomination and getting to see. And you come in and now you're like a disco killer, making what's news and a tripping armadillo. Pied Piper is a blonde gorilla. All they said is nothing but filler. Under it all, the rise and fall of humanity. What's it gonna be? The final nail in the coffin. Under it all, the rise and fall of humanity. What's it gonna be? The final nail in the coffin. And then a bum bum ding 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 ding. You're practicing our campaign. Now I would think it is sad. We're taking back our country by stopping it. I can't do that accent very well. By the immigrants taking our jobs. Yeah. I'm Sean Bean, I like a big sword, me. Without the pies being stashed, so bad can you say yeah? I have got a bullet in my pocket rocket. Ooh, I like to see you stop
come in the night like a disco killer, making one moves and then tripping on my dilla. Pied Piper is a blonde gorilla. He said it's nothing but filler. Come in, they come bigger. Come in, they come, he's a disco killer. Come in, they come bigger. Come in, they come, nothing but under it all. The rise and fall of humanity. What's it gonna be? The final nail in the coffin. Under it all. The rise and fall of humanity. What's it gonna be? The final nail in the coffin. Under it all. The rise and fall of humanity. What's it gonna be? The final nail in the coffin. Under it all. The rise and fall of humanity. What's it gonna be? The final nail in the coffin. Let me see you work it, babe. Oh, she in the house.